In today's Pro Bike Check, we have a look at Enduro World Series rider Jerome Clementz's Cannondale Jekyll. So it's a carbon fibre frame. Cannondale actually call this Ballistec carbon. It's something that's used in the military. It's just really tough carbon fibre. It's 160mm travel, switchable to 95mm. Up to the controls, Jerome runs his own signature Truvative bars, pretty trick. He's also got his number plate still on there from the final round of the EWS at Finale Ligura. He runs the SRAM Guide Ultimate brakes. Actually runs them quite similar to the way I run them, relatively high on the bars and actually really close in. So one finger braking, and when you're pulling that brake on, I'm almost closed fist. Quite chunky WTB grips, quite a big diameter on those, I suppose. Got the SRAM XX1 shifter with this bit of special grip tape on there so his thumb doesn't slide at all when he's pushing hard on there. Over here we've got the reverb control again with that grip tape on it. Something that's slightly unusual on the bars is SRAM XO grip shift, and that actually works the rear shock. It's an unbranded pull shock, so that's slightly different from most. Most shocks are push, this is actually a pull. And this shifter actually moves it and it converts it from 160mm travel down to 95. It's almost like having two individual shocks. You can set the rebound and the sag in both settings, 160 and 95mm. Wheels, we've got SRAM components. This front wheel is actually Black Bots, which is a special prototype front wheel. It's actually carbon fibre. It's quite a wide one. It's actually wider than the rear rim that Jerome's running, just because he likes the profile that gives the tyre. RockShox Lyric up front, all stealthed out, black stanchions, really nice looking fork. You can see there's a little SRAM power link taped to the cable. That's a bit of a cross-country race tip really. So it's nice and handy. If you snap a chain, you can grab that and get going again pretty quickly. We've got SRAM XX1 cranks, carbon obviously, 170mm in length, running a 36 tooth chainring. Jerome does play around with chainring sizes depending on the course. All kept nice and safe for the Truvative chain device. HT clips, we're seeing those more and more on pro riders' bikes. Aaron Gwynn runs them for downhill and we're seeing quite a few pros on those now. Jerome's got the big 1042 11-speed cassette in this really nice fancy gold, again with the gold SRAM chain. We're seeing a few of the pros running those. SRAM Guide brakes held on with titanium bolts, that's pretty trick. 180 rotors front and rear. Jerome's running the Rome 50 SRAM rear rim. Tyres, something slightly unusual. Michelin prototypes front and rear. On the back it's got quite a low profile, fast rolling tyre. On the front it looks like a cut mud tyre. The bike's finished off with a RockShox Reverb, Stealth, dropper post and a carbon rail WTB saddle. The handlebars come in at 750mm. It's exactly as I run them, so I think we've got something in common, but I guess that's relatively narrow compared to some. 50mm stem on the front. The Michelin tyres are prototypes. It even says on them for testing only, not for sale. So they're not actually marked with size, but they actually come in at 2.2. Quite narrow, I suppose. What's it saying? Don't keep me in suspense. 12.9 kilos. So Jerome, you've got some pretty cool graphics on the bike. Tell us about this.
Yeah, we did, with Trolley Design and SRAM, we did a Metallica helmet. Yeah. And with Cannondale, we wanted to do something that match. And so we went for skulls and zombie. And on the top of the frame, on the top tube, we put the lyrics of For Whom the Bell Tolls from Metallica. It's a story about fighting in the hill early in the morning, and so it was good for Enduro, kind of. So it was the same concept. So that's how it comes, and I think it's pretty sick.
Cool. Talk to me about your tyres. Something I guess is kind of unusual. You've got a mud tyre on the front and more of a lower profile slick tyre on the back. Is that for Finale Ligura, or is that how you like to run tyres all the time?
Usually I like to have a really grippy tyre on the front and something that will roll fast in the rear. Yeah. But for Finale it rained all night, and we knew it will be muddy at the top, but not too steep. So I decided to go for a mud tyre, something that has a lot of grip in the front. But as it was not too steep and not too much braking, yeah. I pick a rolling tyre, especially also because the second stage was really flat. Yeah. So that's why I choose this one.
And you have this pretty special rear shock on the Jekyll, 160 or 95mm. Would you use that mid-stage?
Yeah, I shift between 90 and 160 during the stages. Like every time I have to do a sprint, it's really good. And also for the transfer, you have a better position to pedal up, and that's a cool feature from the bike.
Would you say that you're fussy with your bike setup? Do you give your mechanic a hard time? Do you have to work hard to keep you happy?
I'm probably not as fancy as some other rider. I like to make my setting early in the year, and then I just fine-tune for the races, a bit more pressure in the fork, the rebound, and like usually stay the same, brake lever. I like to try different tire, so that's where I'm picky. Otherwise, I like to have the same setup all the time, so I know how my bike will react.
And you choose to ride the Jekyll at every race?
Yeah, right now I race most of the time with the Jekyll. I never use the trigger. I use it at home for riding, but for racing I like this one, and I'm used to it, and I prefer to know what I'm riding than just changing all the time and need to have my setting again.
So there you go, there's Jerome Clementz's Cannondale Jekyll. Some nice little touches with the grip tape on the shifters. Little racy things I spot, like his power link up there. It's definitely a racer's bike. If you want to see more videos from GMBN, you can click up there for our video explaining tyre tread patterns and maybe why Jerome's choosing a mud tyre and a faster tyre on the rear, or click down there for our pro bike playlist, or click on me and the stealthy matte black bike to subscribe to GMBN.